Hello everyone and welcome to Overreacted. Today we are going to create a bottom navigation bar and we'll try to clone the bottom bar of Disney because it's really cool. Here you can see in this screenshot, this is the navigation bar that we are going to build with React Navigation and React Native. As you can see, there are 5 screens: home, TV, Disney, sports and news. And it's very pretty simple bar, very beginner friendly. So if this is your first time building a React Native navigation, then this is going to be perfect for you. For this we are going to use React Navigation 5. Let's go to the docs, and for the purpose of this I have created a application already. As you can see on this screen, here is my initial skeleton that we get when we run the command npx react native. I'll just show you the command npx react native init hotstar. So I got this folder with this command. Okay, so you should know this if you are building apps in React Native, or if you don't, you can check my other beginner videos, right? So we have this folder here and we are going to use this docs. So I'll just shift it here. As you can see, we have 3 types of navigation. One is stack navigation, one is bottom navigation, and one is drawer navigation. Today we are going to learn about bottom navigation, right? For that, let's first install this, that is React Navigation. This is the first file that we need, and going through the documentation, you should always read the documentation whenever you're going to use anything. It is fairly detailed. So there are 2 ways to create React Native project. One is using Expo and one is using bare React Native. We will be using bare React Native because it has a lot of advantage. The next thing is we have to install all these dependencies as well. So now that it has been installed, let's copy and paste this. It's fairly simple. And if you are using if you're going to run on iOS, you'll have to install the pod files as well. If you're using Android, no issues, but since I'm going to run it on iOS, I'll have to do this. So for this you have to go to iOS and you have to run command pod install. So once the pod files are installed, you're ready to go with this. And before everything, you should always wrap your app in navigation container, because this will give a context to your app to use the React Native navigation, right? So this is these are very common mistakes that we do, and then we spend our time debugging all these. So now that the pod files are installed, I'll go back to one folder in this Hotstar folder, and I'll just npx react native run iOS. So this will open up my application in this emulator. If you want to open this in Android, you just have to replace this iOS with Android. So it is going to take a while to build this app. I'll pause this video here and we'll resume once the app is launched. Now you can see my app has launched. If I go to my files and if I clear up my app folder, because we don't need this, these are the skeleton codes that we get from React Native. React Native and NFES. So I'm using an extension for all these shortcuts. You should also use this. It's very great. So I just have to write, let us say this is app, and if I save this, you should be able to see the changes here. Okay, so you can see this is the app. So because I'm using an iOS, it has this status bar on the top, which we have to take in consideration. So we have to use a safe view. But since we will not be doing anything in this app file, so I'll just leave it like this. So let's start building the bottom navigation bar. Okay, so we need 5 screens in total. So you can see we have to create 5 screens. One is home, TV, this Disney, and sports and news. Cool. So the very first thing that we are going to do is to create a folder, and we'll call it screens. Yes, so the first one is home.js, the second one is tv.js, third one is sports.js, fourth is, which one is fourth? Fourth is disney.js, and last one is news. So these are the 5 screens that we are going to use for our application. You can see that I have named this folder with a small letter. This is the best convention that you should use. And RNFES, let's call this home. Make sure that the component name is capitalized, otherwise your React will give an error. So we'll give it a style. Let's give it a style name called styles.container, and from here we will have to close this one. And here if I give it some style, let us say by default the display property in React Native is flex, so we don't have to specifically call that. I'll just call it justify content center, align items center. Cool. So as you can see, anything that we write here will be automatically centered. So if this is my home, and now I'll just copy everything from here and I'll paste this in every screen. So this is news, and I'll replace this news as well. News, save. This is sports, and so this is sports and this is TV. Now right now we are creating all our screens that we are going to use for our bottom navigation. This is not a like Hotstar clone video, so I'm not going to write anything inside these screens except for these name and news, home, and Disney. This one is remaining. This is called as Disney. Alright, so now that we have our 5 screens, we just have to check in our app if these all are working or not. So this is very cool. I'll just check my home one. Yeah, make sure there's a space, and if I see it's refreshing, and we should see a home written here somewhere. Okay, it is giving. Why is it not showing home? I just imported it. I'll reload this screen. Nope, there is some error. If I go here, I should see my home text, justify content center. If I give it a flex of 1, then also I guess there is some issue. Let me just figure this out. Expected string for built-in element type is invalid. Okay, we'll likely forward this. Okay, let me see what's the issue here. Everything is great here. Check the render method of app. Okay, so what is happening? Okay, there was some issue. I don't know, maybe I was missing this semicolon or something. So you can see my home screen is now here. So now what we are going to do, we are going to wrap everything inside this navigation container. So I'll just copy this navigation container. Make sure you're not putting your navigation container inside any div, otherwise it will create a lot of bugs for you. Let's import this. So it's not auto importing, we'll have to import it manually. Just copy this line and paste it on the top. Now you can see we have our navigation container and we'll have anything here. So just for now I'll just have my home screen for now, and meanwhile I'll create the rest of my screens. Okay, now make sure you're not making any syntax error, otherwise it's really hard to debug in React Native since you don't get these errors pointed out perfectly, right? So yeah, now as you can see all the errors are gone. It's navigation container and my home is wrapped inside it. Next thing that we have to do is to create a folder and call it as Navigator. Alright, so the first file I'll just call a bottom .js, because we are not going to create multiple navigators here, just a simple bottom navigation bar. But if you are planning to create a complex app, then you should name your navigators wisely, because you might get confused later on. So for this we are going to use tab navigation. Bottom navigation bar is also called tab navigation. We'll have to install it separately, so I'll just open up my terminal and install it. I'll close this one. Okay, meanwhile it is being installed, let's look at the code samples that we have. It is saying that we have to initialize a variable with create bottom navigator constructor and then use it to create a bottom navigation bar. That's great. Let's just copy this one from here, and so as you can see it has been installed. So let's just paste our code. A few things that we need to copy from here is this line, because we need this create bottom navigator. So make sure you import everything, and it is here. And the next thing is make sure you are importing React, because it will again give an error if you don't. So alright, now I just have to replace this because we don't need this. Okay, so first component that you are going to give your tab navigator will be the very first icon that will be displayed here. So make sure your order is perfect. The first component that we are going to use is home. Okay, the next component that we'll be using is, okay, I have to remove something from here. I'll just let you know what. Let's see at the screenshot. Next is TV, Disney, sports and news. Cool. We don't need this navigation container. Since we wrapped our parent in the app file, we don't need this here. So the next file that we need is TV, and alright, it has been imported. Now we need Disney, next we need sports, and finally we are gonna need the news. Also we have to change the component name, because this name, whatever you are going to give it here, will be used to reference this screen later in the app. Disney, and this is sports, and this is news. Alright, so let's just save this and let's call it bottom, not app. Okay, so we have exported our bottom navigation from here. Now we just have to use it in our app.js file. If you'll go here and remove this, and if you call bottom here, you should see a bottom navigation bar right here, hopefully. Let's wait for it to refresh. Okay, so this is a very RAM consuming application, Android emulator that we have. So make sure you have good RAM, at least 4 GB for this to run. So you can see I have all the screens here: sports, news, Disney, TV, home. Now we just have to, okay, Disney, sports, news. Okay, one thing is here, why my TV, Disney, sports and news text is not coming. Let's give it a check. Just a second. Okay, news text container, I haven't given it a flex of 1. What flex 1 does is it makes this container take whole space. So if you'll see my new screen, news is coming up. I'll just add this flex property to each and every component. Flex 1, cool, save it. For TV as well, I should have better copied it instead of typing it manually everywhere. Sports, news, home, Disney is remaining, and let's go. So now it's done. As you can see, our navigation is completed. Now we just have to customize this bottom navigation bar. Now we have our bottom navigation here. As you can see, it's time to style it according to this bottom nav bar. You can see this is a color. It's not black actually, it's Hotstar color. So we'll just go to Hotstar's website and copy the hex code of this color. It will be very important for us. If you will, this is how you look at the styles of any website. You just go to inspect, and from here this is the color that we are going to use. Now that we have copied it, let's close this tab. Okay, coming here in this tab navigator tag, you can style your bottom navigation bar. You just have to give tab bar options and double curly braces, and here you can style it as you want. First of all, I'm going to hide the label. The label is the home TV Disney that you are seeing. We are going to remove it so that we can replace it with our own. We can make it false, and if you'll save it, you will see that the label is gone. See, it's completely blank, but still I can change as my screen, right? The next thing is I'm going to call this style. You can either pass an object here or you can style it manually. I'll say background color is the color that we just copied. It will change the background color to the anything we want. I'll give it a height of 100. It's not pixel, it's not rem, it's relative height to any screen that you're using. So in React Native we don't write pixel or rem or anything. So as you can see, I have my height here. So I guess this is all that I'm going to do to my this navigator. Now individually I'll style the icon and the name for each of this. Okay, this is some error. Okay, so here I'll call my options. Alright, so in options, what you get, you got tab bar icon. So in tab bar icon, I'm going to design this whole thing. I am just going to take my focus property. So this will decide what is the color of my tab bar when it is focused. By focused, okay, I'm getting some spotlight error. This is my laptop's error, just ignore it. So it will decide whether my tab is in focused or not. Okay, so first of all we are going to need an image. So this image I'll import it from React Native. Damn it, what is this? I'll just hide. Where should I hide it? I'll hide it here. Please ignore it. Okay, so I'm going to write an image. I'll import it from React Native. From React Native I have to import this image. As you can see, it has been imported. Okay, now that I have my image, I'll have to pass it a source. From where we are going to get this source? Cool. We'll use icon scout. I'll just search for a home icon, and this is my favorite site to use icons, illustrations, or even 3D images sometimes. Use it whenever you want, just give credit to them. I'm going to use this one, so I'll just copy the image URL. I don't need to download this image. I'll just copy image address and I'll pass it here. So if you want to use, give it a style property for its height and width. Okay, so I'm going to give it a height of, let us say 30 for now, and also a width of 30. Again, it is not pixel, it is not rem, it is just what it is. It's relative pixels, you can see. And we need to pass it a color, tint color, actually not exactly color, tint color. I'll just check it with white whether it is being applied or not. You can see it is white. So here we have to place it dynamically. So this is why we have focused here. By focused, what I mean, whether we are on this particular screen or not. So we will see if we have, okay, sorry for this, if we have focused question mark, so it's a ternary operator of JavaScript. I'm asking whether we are focused. If we are focused, then the color should be white, otherwise the color should be gray. So we have an error, it can't find focused. Okay, I placed an U here, sorry. So you can see if I go away from the screen, this is grayed out. So you can see here in the Disney bottom navigation as well, it is grayed out. So this will help us, and I guess this is it. I don't need this, so I'll just save it. Why am I getting an error here? I30, okay, flex style, height, string number, anyway. So this is just my linter error, you can ignore it. So as you can see, next to my image I need a text. This is my home, right? So let's call it home, save it. Okay, must be wrapped inside your tab bar icon. This should be in a view. By view I mean in a div, because in your tab icon you can't place two continuous item, right? So this will, I'll shift it one up, I'll save it, and can't find variable. Okay, I'll just have to import it, save it, and you can see can't find variable. Okay, there should be some smart editors, you know, which can import these things automatically. If I save it now, you can see home is there, but the color is not white actually. So I'll give it a style property. Okay, so what is this? This is not how I wanted to give it the style property. So okay, so I'll give it a font size first of all. Font size of, let us say, 16. Save it. Okay, it is good. And then I will give it a color again, same as that one. If it is focused, the color should be white, otherwise it should be gray. So I'll paste it out, and you can see it is here. Now what I need to do, I have to justify, I have to, you know, you can see it is not centered. So I will style my div. This is called inline styling. You should practice inline styling as less as possible. Try to pass an object here, but just for the sake of demonstration I am doing this. I told you earlier as well that by default the display property in a React Native is flex, so we don't have to write that line. Align items, it is again centered, so it should be centered now. If you'll see, yeah, you can see it is centered. So if I change my tab, you can see it is grayed out. So I'll just copy this portion, this options, and I will paste it in every component except for Disney, because for Disney we need a different image. Yeah, but we can paste it. We'll just remove the unnecessary part. As you can see, when I refresh it, I'll see 5 homes in the bottom. Cool. So you can see when I go to any of this home, it is sports, it is diff. Now I just have to change my icon. So I'll just replace it here. I'll go here. On icon scout, if you click on any of the icon, it takes you to the family of that particular icon. If I open this user interface pack, I'll see all the related icons. So for sports, I'm going to use this rugby one, because I tried to find, but I didn't find any bat icon just like this. So I will make work with this rugby icon. Where is my sports? So this is sports one, right? I have to replace this link with the link that I just copied. Okay, if I save it, you should see that the rugby icon would have been there. Okay, as you can see, this is the rugby icon here. I think that 30 is a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to change this 30 with 25 in my screen, because I don't want it to be such big. So I'll just press Command F, I'll find 30 and I'll replace it with, let us say, 25 everywhere. So now if I refresh it, this should be smaller. Yeah, it is much smaller and it looks better as well. And also I don't want it to be 16, I want it to be 12. So it's a hit and trial. You should see what looks good on your application and then do it accordingly. So yeah, it looks perfect now. Okay, I'll replace the name with sports, and this is news. So first of all I'll change this text to news, and now I will copy the news icon. I'll find the news. Okay, I should have to load more. Okay, it has been loaded. If I search for news, here is the newspaper icon. I'll copy the image address, I'll paste it here. The news is done, sports is done. For Disney, I don't need this text. If you look at the Disney's that thing, bottom bar, there is no text there. So I just remove my text. What I need to do is I need to increase the size as well. It should be 40 and the width should be 30, and I have to copy Disney's icon. So I'll just search for Disney plus logo, and we'll copy a PNG icon. Make sure that you're copying a PNG icon because then only you can change the tint color. So it is one of the unsaid rule that you should be aware of. Okay, so as you can see, this logo is PNG. So I'll just copy image address and paste it here. If I save this so far, you will see the changes reflected down here. So you can see this is Disney. I think I can increase the size a little extra. So I'll make it 60 and the height is 40. If I save it, yeah, you can see it is being cropped. So I don't want it to be cropped. So I'll make it 30 only. Okay, the width is 30. Okay, the width should also need to be 60, not 600. Yeah, so it is Disney Plus. Now I just have to replace these two icons and the name, and then we are done. So this is TV. I have to copy the TV icon from here. This TV icon, and just paste this here. If I save this, you can see we are done. So this is the clone of Disney's bottom navigation bar. If you find better icons, replace them and you are good to go. So I hope you like this video. If so, please like and subscribe my channel. I'll come forward with more such clones, more such awesome content, and yes, keep reacting.